Okay, so this is for page 33, Surprise Symphony, number 133. This is still day one of the week, but I want you to get this one, and I want to be done with this page in one day if possible. So we have information about Franz Joseph Haydn, and the reason this one is called the Surprise Symphony. So it actually has Symphony number 94, but it's known famously as the Surprise Symphony. There's also a new thing called rehearsal marks. We've seen that for those of you that are in All-Stars, where we have music that's more than one, that's more than a couple of lines, because when we're practicing together, it's a great place to say, let's all start at measure 5, or let's all start at measure 9. So it has a rehearsal mark to indicate that. Sometimes you'll see rehearsal marks that are letters. It just depends on the composer or the editor of that piece and what they decided to do. In this case, we have measure numbers, which is really helpful because it gets long and it's hard to count what measure you're on, right? So, like I said, we're going to talk about this piece and then do the practice spots. So, in this piece, we have a lot of piano. It's very, very, very quiet. And then you have one note in measure 8 that is forte. And then immediately you got to go back to piano. So, I'm going to go ahead and go through and name the notes. You can fast forward through this part if you know your note names already, or you can rewind and do it again to make sure you got all the notes right. So here are the notes. C, C, E, E, G, G, E, F, F, D, D, B, B, G. C, C, E, E, G, G, E, C, C, F sharp, G, G, F, G, E, G, D, 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 E, F, G, A, G, F, E, D, 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 E, E, G, G, C, C, E, D, D, C, B, A, B, C, 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 rest. All right, if you can't say it that fast, that's totally okay. But I just want to make sure you got the right letters in so you know what notes you're playing. Okay, and hopefully I surprised you by saying the loud note loudly. That's the idea, is that it's so pretty. It's such a pretty symphony. If you go and listen to it on YouTube, it's such a pretty symphony. And then, as you know, classical music has the tendency to be relaxing and can put people to sleep. Some of you may have fallen asleep when we were at the Houston Symphony. And so this was Haydn's way of waking up the audience. It was like, hello, we're still playing here. Pay attention to us. This is really good stuff. So that was his way of making sure the audience was paying attention. Okay, so speaking of the practice spots, so we're looking at the second line, which happens to be measure 7. And we're going to practice going from C natural to C sharp. In particular for violins and violas, you have a low 2 to high 2, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. So we have... So that cool interval is like raises the hair on the back of your neck. It's actually called a tritone. It has a fancy name because it's a fancy interval, and it really leads us into playing the next note, G. So we've got, and we're going to start up bow. Now I want to make sure we're doing this soft, so I'm going to make sure I'm on the piano lane. So I'm going to scoot my bow a little higher on the string, or closer to my face. All right, and then we're going to add in the next measure, so 7 and 8. So we're going to be piano, and then we got to move our bow and play a forte. Slightly slower. I think I'm trying to go too fast for some reason. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see how much of a big difference you can make between that piano and that forte. All right, the next spot to practice is to add in the next note in measure 9, because then we go back to piano. So you're out at the tip right here for this beginning of this. Move your bow. Move your bow. Okay, so let's practice that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I would recommend practicing moving your bow on the bowing lanes. I would do that probably 5 times a piece. Even if you just wanted to break it down even smaller and just do the short one, it's going to start up bow on the G. So make sure you can see that I'm moving my bow and I'm going to get the frog for that G. So there's not a bow lift mark there on the rest, but I want to get a little bit closer to the frog because I'll have more weight, and so I think my forte will be more effective. So that's something that you can do there. All right, the next practice spot would be, obviously we got that one where we broke it down. It's from 7 to the first note of 9. So hopefully you've got that worked out, and then you can move on to this next spot of the video. Otherwise, I'd press pause and make sure you really have that spot worked out. And it just comes with practice and trial and error. So it's okay if it doesn't work the first 17 times. Maybe number 18 is going to be the one for you. Or maybe it doesn't work the first 1,030,000 times, but maybe 1,031,000 is going to work for you. So just keep trying. Okay, so measure 9 is the next practice spot. We have those string crossing slurs. So, and they are soft. So we're going to be in our piano lane, so closer to the fingerboard. Still going to need to add that weight for that lower string for the second note of the string crossing. All right, and then the next one is the E to G. So you still need to add that weight for that second note, even though you're trying to be soft. It's just going to make it speak. If you are having trouble with that note speaking and it's coming out like kind of fuzzy or just isn't starting right away when you move your bow, it's because you just need a little bit more weight and a little more bow speed on that second note of the string crossing slur. Okay, so hopefully you've got all those worked out. There are a couple other little spots you're welcome to practice before you play with me, but I am ready to go for it. Number 133. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully you've got this all worked out and figured out. I realize how long this video ended up being, and so I'm actually going to make it day 2, so you don't have to do so much. So I will figure that out on your Canvas page, but it'll say the wrong thing at the beginning of this video and at the end of the first video, because I thought I was going to be able to get it all together in one video. So I'll see you on day 3's music. Bye!